Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ifa Betty Zaidi and my matrix number 01DDT20F1008. Today I'm going to explain about practical task 2 for subject Introduction to Network code DFC20F143. So the practical task that given is subnet and IPv4. Here the packet tracer that I already opened, and look at here, the packet tracer that we need to solve it is subnet and IPv4. So here the addressing table given have a column device, interface, IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. And the device already given is custom router, LAN switch A, LAN A switch, LAN B switch, PCA, PCB, ISP router, ISP switch, workstation, ISP workstation, and IRP server. So here the adjective that already given. The objective already given have a three part. Part 1, design an IPv4 network subnetting scheme. The part 2, configure the device. Part 3, step the troubleshoot in the network. Here the background and scenario that given. In this activity, you will subnet the customer network into multiple network subnet. The subnet scheme should be based on the number of hosts computer required in each subnet, as well as others network consideration like future network host expansion. After you have created a subnetting scheme and complete the table by filling the missing host and interface IP address, uh, you will configure the host PC switches and router interface. After the network device and host PCs have been configured, you will use the ping command to test the network connectivity. Okay, let's take a look at the instruction for part 1. Part 1, subnet and assign network. Step 1, create a subnetting scheme that meet the required number of subnet and required number of host addresses. In this scenario, you are a network technician assigned to install a new network for a customer. You must create multiple subnet of the 192.168.0. Network address space to meet the following requirement. A. The first subnet is a LAN A network, you need minimum of 450 host IP address. B, the second subnet is a LAN B network, you need a minimum of 50 host IP address. And C, you also need at least two additional unused subnet for the future network expansion. Okay, have a note here. Variable length subnet must will not be used. All of device subnet must should be same length. So have the question D. D. Answer the following question to help create a subnetting scheme that meets state network requirement. So here the question: how many host address that needed the largest requirement? So the largest requirement the subnet that given is 50. So they already tell us that minimum of 50 host IP address for each for line A. So the largest is 50, and what the minimum number subnet required. The minimum subnet that required is 4, because they already tell you have a two network, and here um two network already given, and have a two additional unused subnetting for future expansion. So the minimum is 4. So the network that you task subnet is 162.168.0.0/24. What is is the /24 subnet mask in binary? So in this case, we have to create a binary. We have to design a subnetting scheme. So let's take a look at the table here. I already um designed for /24 subnetting binary. So it's going here. This is a called prefix. So we assign to prefix /24. Subnet is already given is So to decimal, subnet will be given is 255.255.255.255. So that we have to change in binary. So we have to binary, this is the decimal number to change into the binary number. So we got it 1 So we got it here, the answer. So if you want to know the all numbers in this binary, you have to know, have 81 in this binary for each point. So you got it, the answer for binary subnetting 4/24. Okay, for let's take a look to E. The subnet mask is made up of two portions: the network portion and the host portion. This is representing the binary by ones and zeros in the subnetting. In the network zero mask, what do the ones represent? The one represent for in for one is represent for network portion, while in the network mask, what do the zeros represent? The zeros represent for host portion. So answer already answered it for this answer E, for question E. Now let's take a look to question F. The subnet network bits from the host portion of original network mask can be changed into the subnet bits. The number of the subnet bits define the numbers of subnet. Given each the possible subnet must duplicate into the following binary form: how many subnet and how many hosts are created. So I have a hint given. Remember the host number bits the power of 2 define the numbers for the portion per subnet. So equal minus 2. Then the number of subnet bits to the power of 2 defines the number of subnet. The subnet bits shown in bold and bits have be borrowed beyond the original network mask of /24. The /24 is a prefix notation. The corresponding dotted decimal mask of 255.255.255.255.0. So already six already here prefix for prefix /25, prefix /26, prefix /27, prefix /28, and uh prefix prefix /29, and prefix /32 30. So consider your answer above, which subnet must meet the required answer minimum host address. So first of all, we need to the scheme uh, all the prefix. So I already scheme it here and with each number. So I not assign any subnet mask that given. As you can see, so we have to find it first. So if you look at here binary number. This is a whole number that hinted that give. So here the number of subnet that we have to assign, and this is a subnet whole number of subnet that we have to know host in which in each subnet. So we already assigned for prefix 24, and number of subnet that we got it is 2 power of 0 we got 1, and number of per subnet that we got it is 254. So then for host per subnet. Now let's take a look for slash prefix 25. So we never know number of subnets. So look at it here. We have to take a look. Have a one network. So we have to borrow for number of subnet. So we got two. So we got two power of one. So we got two, and the answer for here we got 1 to 6. So what is subnet mask for here? The subnet mask that we got it is, so if you want to know the binary, the subnet mask for subnet mask here, we have to change the number, the host, the subnet he, this the host portion, the binary number for last binary number for the bold one. So here I got 255.255.255.255 point 64, and we already get it for prefix 25. Now let's take a look of prefix 26. Here the number that given have a two have a two one that bold, and have a 60 over here. So two we borrow to the number of subnet, and zero we borrow to hover subnet. So let's take a look. Let's counting 2 power of 2. So we got 4, and here we got it. We got 62, and the number of subnet we got change to binary, change to decimal, so we got 192. Prefix 45, 27 have a 3 over here, so we borrow to number of subnet over here, so we got 8, and we got 30 over here for number of host per subnet. So the subnet mask that we got it is, we got it over here for prefix 27 is 227 What's about prefix 28? So have a four number four one over here, so we borrow to number of subnet, so we got 16 over here, and number of subnet because I have a 40 over here, so we borrow to number of of host subnet, we got 14. 14 number of host per subnet for prefix 28, and to know the subnet mask decimal for 0 for prefix 28, so we have to change binary number over here, which is 111110000, change to binary, so we change to decimal, so we got 2 244 240, so we got 240 over here. And now let's take a look. Now let's take a look for prefix 29. So I'll have a 45 over here, for 41 over here. So we borrow for number of subnet. So we got it 32, and have a 30. So we borrow for number of half per subnets. We got 6. We got 6 6 for number of subnet, and to assign the subnet mask we got 248 for number of per subnet in decimal for prefix 29, and lastly we got 2 power of 6 So we got it is a 64 for number of subnet for prefix 30 and number of subnet host per subnet we got 2, and then lastly for answer the subnet mask for prefix 20 prefix 30 is 254. So uh for question for question F, we already answered the answer. Already the answer. One until six. Now let's take a look. Now consider your answer above. Which subnet must meet the required number of minimum host address? So the minimum number that required in host address is prefix 25 and prefix 26. So uh, other question for consider your above which subnet must meet the minimum number of subnet required. The subnet required which is prefix 26, prefix 27, prefix 28, prefix 29, and prefix 30. So done for question and consider your answer above which subnet must meet the above requirement minimum number of hosts and the minimum subnet are required. So the host is given is 50 and the minimum number of subnet required is host 26. So we already got it for host 26. Now let's take a look for others for next question. When you have determined which subnet must meet all the state network required, the drift of the subnet list the subnet list the first to last, and remember that first subnet is 162.168.0.0 with the chosen subnet mask. So for the minimum required that we got it for question is prefix 26. So we already assign here all assign here for prefix 26. Assign for prefix 26 first, and the subnet that we got is 192 255.255 2.255.192. So copy all because we got this same subnet. So here, look at the subnet address. So firstly, we started with 192 subnet address over here. So we got already given 192.168.1.0.0. Now, so the number of subnet where we got it is 4 equals 64. So we'll just add 64 over all over the subnet. So for the second subnet, we got 192.168.0.9468 for 64, and for the others 1 to 8, and lastly we got 192 for last one for lastly. So here the answer for fill already some subnet address and in the table. So step 2, fill in the missing IP address in the addressing table. So assign IP address based on the following used ISP network as an example. So firstly that you need it is create address table for network address, for broadcast address, and number of hosts per subnet. So I already create the scheme and just a follow of them that we got it before that, which is 64 0 64 128 and 192. So we already know the prefix is 26, so just a filling all of it. Also here we got it 192 for subnet mask. Just copy all and we got it. So number of hosts per subnets we already know is we got it is 62. So the number of subnet we already know is we got it is 64. So let's fill in of 64 for this subnet and filling of broadcast over here. So broadcast where we got it is 63 1 to 7 191 and lastly we got it 255. So already info, network address, broker address, number of hosts per subnet and prefix. So now let's take a look at the table. So um I already assigned for each subnet which is 0 64 1 to 8 and 192. And broker address also 1 to 7 sorry 63 1 to 7 191 and 255. So the prefix that already we already got it is /26 and the subnet mask we already know which is 192. Just a filling of with same subnet mask 19255.255 0.255.255.192 to all subnet for all network address. So the number of we also know the number of hosts which is 64. So just a filling of 64 for number of hosts per subnet in this column. Now we just on we want to know the first usable address IP address and last usable IP address that we got it. So for the first usable, so network address will start with 0. So the first usable IP address must must fill in after that. So which is 1. So the last usable IP address we will assign until 62 because we not assign until 63 because this already assigned for broadcast address. So until 62 and continue after that. So started with 65 until 1 to 6, start 1 to 9 until 190. Started with 193 for network address 192 for 168 for 140.0.192. So started with 193 and ended until 254. So here all IP address I've already assigned. Now let's take a look for the step 2 over here. So, step 2. Fill in the missing IP address in the addressing table. Assign IP address based on the following criteria. Use the ISP. Assign the first subnet for the LAN A. So, use the first host address for custom router interface connect to the LAN A switch. So, here the table, the IP address where we got it. Over here, already given interface IP address subnet by default gateway. So guys, this is that we have to assign the interface over here. So the table that given in the IP address. So the step 1 that we have to is assign the first subnet in the LAN A. Use the first host address the custom router interface connected with LAN A switch. So here to know the interface that they use is, so the interface they use for custom router 30/0 30/1. So we have to assign the IP address over here. So just take it that we meet in the first IP address in the first, which is 192.10168 .168.048. So we just put the answer of in this table. So we got answer. So the subnet mask is 1255.255.255.92. Just a copy and put it in here. Put it at custom router. Look at this LAN A. Also, the question also need to subnet for LAN A. So we have to assign for LAN A. Use the same IP address and subnet address that already we did. To assign in the LAN A switch. So we already got it for. So we already got it for LAN A switch. Now let's take a look and copy this IP address also for default gateway. So use the second host address for the LAN A switch. Make sure to assign a default gateway address to the switch. So we already assigned the route the custom router, the IP address for custom router and subnet mask for custom router. Now we are already assigned for LAN A switch for custom route. LAN A switch with with same IP address, with same IP address as custom router and put and assign default gateway also. So use the last host IP address PCA to make sure assign default gateway address to PCA. Now let's take now let's now let's take a look to assign IP address, last IP address for PCA. So to know the last usable IP address that used in the in so we have to assign last host IP address for PCA. So and make sure the default gateway for PC. So the last host for IP address that use is so now let's take a look for PCA. So the last usable host assign last usable host for PCA. So this is the last usable IP address in the for to so we have to assign in PCA. So just a copy paste for PCA and same IP address for it. So same IP address that use which is 255.255.255.255.192. So we already give it. So let's take a look what is the default gateway for PCA. So the default gateway for PCA which is same as LAN A switch. So just a copy in it and fill form over here. So done um we already done assign IP address for custom router, LAN A switch, and PCA. Now let's take a look for NAPStack. Assign a second subnet for LAN B. So use the first host for the custom router interface to connect to LAN's B. So let's take a look over here. Here the second subnet that assigned for custom router. So just copy what we already fill to put in the and same IP address for subnet mask and same subnet mask for custom router for interface 30/1 that connected with switch B and same as LAN switch B. And the and the subnet mask is 255.255 192 for IP for subnet mask for LAN switch B. And the default. So done for question A, B, work B1. So let's take a look. Use the second host address for LAN B switch and make sure assign the default gateway for the switch. So now let's take a look what the second host. For custom router, uh, we have to assign use the first host in for custom router interface to connect it to the LAN switch B. So let's take a look the switch that already assigned with. So the switch that already assigned is 301, and that we have to that we have to assign IP address which use the first host. So which is 192.168.0.1, and for the LAN B we take a look for the second IP address which is the first. For the custom router, we already assigned for 192.168.0.65 for custom router for interface G0/1, and subnet mask which is 255.255.255.255.92. Now let's take a look for LAN switch B. So we also assign. So the subnet B also ask us to use the second host address on the LAN's B switch and make sure to assign the default gateway address for the switch. So let's take a look. So the second host for the LAN switch B, they 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 want to us to assign the host address LAN switch B for this use the second host. So look at the table we already made. We look at the scheme they already made it, which is they have a first usable IP address. So the first usable IP address we already assigned for custom router for interface three G0/1. So for LAN we just only change to 192.168.0.66 because they ask us to assign second, and the IP address which is 255.255.255.192. So same for all of them, and the network the subnet mask that we need is. So the default gateway for line B is just take from IP address from cluster router and copy and paste over here for default gateway PCB. Now we already got it. Well, we already get it for LAN switch A. Now let's take a look for assign PCB. What will they need they want for uh, LAN B. So use the host IP address, the last host for PCB, and make sure assign default gateway for PC. So the assign PC, so just look at the table, the last host PC. So the last host for PC last host IP address assigned to PCA, PCB, and IP address and subnet mask, and default gateway same as LAN B switch, which is 192.168.0.65. Just copy and paste it here. So finally, we already assigned for LAN A for custom router, for LAN A switch, LAN B switch, PCA and PCB. Now let's get into the step for let's get to new part, which is part to configure the device. Configure the basic setting on the PC's switches and router. Refer the to addressing table the device name and address. So step 1, configure the custom router. Here the custom router. So set enable secret on the custom router to class A. So the step one we need is configure customer router. A. Set enable secret password customer router to class 123. B. Set console login password to Cisco 123. C. For configure customer router as host name for the router. D. Configure the uh, G0/0 and G0/1 interface with IP address subnet mask and enable them, and E save a running configuration to the startup config file. So let's take a look first, step by step over here. So let's configure one by one. So go to the CLI and click enter to start. So So into the configure, which is configure into the configuration. So click enable. It's already changed to uh configuration external configuration. So we enter the password, enable secret. So the so enable secret password on custom router, which is class 123. So we click class 123 for password. So moving on to the login console. So the pin that we need that we have to type is line console line console 0. And enter the password over here. So the password is class 123 and click login. Save the password. So we already assigned the password for the router. Now we have to we have to configure the customer router as hostname for the router. So we have to exit from here. So click exit, type exit or control Z for exit. Now click host. So So we already got name. So click host name, type host name for others. So we already click host name. The configure customer router. So copy over here and paste, which is gonna paste over here. So the host name that we we have to that we have to config, which is customer router. So they already signed, we already type and click enter. So this already changed customer router config. So now let's take a look the other step, which is configure the interface, which is 30/0 and 30/1 interface with IP address. So the command that we have to enter, which is uh interface gigabit in, interface gigabit alternate, which is we have to which is uh, let's we have to uh, configure by one. So I'm choose 0/1 first, 0/0 first, and enter the IP address. So I click login. So we already into the configuration. So let's take a look the IP address for cust customer IP for interface 0/0. So here 192.168.1.1. So this is over here. So we have to enter the subnet mask, which is we already know the subnet mask for all interface is same, which is 255.255.255.192. Don't forget to add command which is IP address for this interface for this configuration. So click enter. So we already got it. The, we already enter the IP address over here and click type no shutdown command for see the interface already changed. So click. So these are also this is already told us that LAN protocol the interface and gigabit 0/0 already changed to the uh to up. So it's already changed over here as we can see. So let's take a look for the gigabit interface for gigabit interface gigabit internet 0/1. So enter the command 0/1 into the IP and enter the IP address, which is 192 point, enter the IP address that we already assigned it, which is 192.168.0.949.465. So over here, So enter the subnet mask, which is same be interface key, interface 0, and enter it. So click so type no shutdown command to see this the interface already changed or not. So yes, the LAN protocol, the interface for gigabyte is changed. So let's take a look. This is already changed over here. Now let's take a look for others for others side for next question, which is so we after we already configure the interface, now we have to save and save the running configuration to start up the configuration first. So mm, the command is so we already assign we already enable the interface. Now we have to uh, exit from here. Just enter short key which is Ctrl Z, and it's uh already exit from the console by console. Now just enter, and we have to save the the configuration. So run. So already saved. Enter. So this is the destination file name starter config. So yes, we already save the file. So already done for customer router. Now let's take a look for step 2. Configure the two customer LAN switches. Configure IP address on VLAN 1 and two customer LAN switches. Make sure the configuration the correct default gateway on each switch. So let's take a look for this LAN, which is LAN switches over here. LAN switches over here, which is our LAN A and LAN B. So the LAN they already given, which is LAN A, LAN B. So let's take a look the f- the IP address that we assign. So this is this is the LAN A. So which is we have to change to second use second host for IP address. So we change to 192.168.1.0.2, and we copy it, and now let's take a look for for the need. So line going to cell I tab and press enter to enter the switch. Now enter the command enable. So we already entered the command. Now the command config. So we already choose configure terminal. Yes, configure terminal, and already into the configure terminal. So go into the interface. Type interface interface VLAN 1, and enter. So we already entered to the interface interface in VLAN, and set the IP address, which is the IP address is 192.168.1.0.2, 0.0.2 and subnet mask 255.255.255.192. The subnet mask they already assigned for IP address. So enter it and no shutdown command to see the interface already changed or not. So it's already changed to start up. So enter. So we have to exit to configure the default gateway is true or not for each switch. So we enter the IP default gateway over here and enter the default IP default gateway. So the default gateway for LAN A switch A, which is 192.668, copy and paste over here. So in this default gateway, we no need to enter subnet mask, just enter. So as you can see over here, yes, this is the correct default gateway that we enter in the line. So let's take it. So we have to change the configuration in the villa in the LAN A. So Ctrl Z for exit from the config interface. So we already changed. So the so copy. So we enter copies. So enter to save, and it's already saved for the VLAN. Now the LAN B, same step, same step, in LAN A. So enable config configure. Yes, choose configure terminal. Enter the configure terminal. So we have to know the configuration for IP gateway. So we also enter the command exit to the configuration. So in enter IP default. To default gateway. So enter the default gateway. So enter the IP address for default gateway, which is 192.168, and it's already done. So Ctrl Z to exit from the configuration and save the terminal and save the configuration, which is copy running config, enter the command. save. So yes, destination final status, click OK. It's already saved. Now close the tab and look at it. Configure configure the PC and interface B. So go into IP configuration and enter the IP address for the PCA and PCB. So PCA, which is 192.160, 192.168.0.1.02. Enter the subnet one, which is 192, and default gateway, which is and default gateway is and also same use same step with at PCB, which is enter IP address 192 and the gateway point one. So already assigned. So but let's go to the customer router and see we have to change the password. Change password to call us to Cisco 123 over here. Now choose configure. Yes, we choose configure terminal. Configure and enter command line console 0. Already enter line console 0. And now console 0. And setting the password which is Cisco 123, which is look at here the line console, and after we assign password as a administrator, but here we have okay. Let me close it. Usually passwords depends on the administrator, but here we have to set the specified password as per this activity. Then only we can score this full percentage. Okay, finally we have test and troubleshoot. Since we already changed the password, now login the password. Exit the mode. We already saved the password and already saved the password. Now Let's take a look. So, determine PCB can communicate with the forget bit. So, enter the pin to know that they can communicate. Enter the pin. So, the pin for PCA, which is PCB, is here 192.168.0.129. So, let's take a look if can communicate with each other and enter ping default gateway. So the default gateway which is 95. Yes, the PCA and default gateway can communicate each other. Now let's take a look for determine if PCA can communicate with PCB. So here PCA, ping PCA. So PCB, ping PCB. Yes, PCA and PCB can communicate each other. Also can communicate each other. So the I got I got the reply. So it's already reply. Let's take a look PCB. What if PCB can communicate with PCA? So enter the PCA, PCB ping into 6 and PCA ping, PCA command. Also get reply each other. So that's it from me. Thank you.